MacGyver's stew, made with lamb.
Yummy.
Go ahead, have a bite. Glitch. Here you go, bud. Glitch. Alright. That's not bad. Yeah. Happy.
There you go. That's a good zipper.
Talk to just have a seat at the table with someone.
That's pretty good because there's a lot of people out there without jobs.
Well, the way things are going downhill in the Twin Ports, it's kind of important, isn't it?
Section 2 of the Act. Furthermore, I don't think that the City Council has the authority to order the hospital board to take a certain action. It would run up against the very first sentence of the Act, which says that all power, authority, and so forth on over the property of the hospital is delegated to this Board of Directors of Trusts.
Attorney Locken refers to the legislation that created Miller-Dwan in its current form. He stated that although the hospital and its contents are the property of the city, the legislation directed that a court-appointed board run the hospital. That testimony combined with that of Buzz Palmer, Miller-Dwan's CEO, who said the board has used its authority over the years to direct spending and adjust the hospital's mission to fit the times.
Our board has worked hard over the years to find niches where we can offer services and not duplicate what's being done in other community hospitals or other kinds of treatment centers.
Fran Bernstein from Miller-Dwan Hospital. A way for people to actually become involved.
For years we've tried to fight drugs on the street. And yes, you can fight drugs on the street, but to win the drug war you have to fight it in the home and you have to fight it when the kids are young.
The major reason is their pelts are so luxurious. As you can see, this cat has just got a beautiful pelt, and so the people in these countries trap them or shoot them for that purpose.
see the ascending ramus through the lesion. 60 milliliters of tetracycline and 100. Only that if their dentist or doctor or whatever is practicing standards in their office as far as sterilization and maintenance of their environment, they don't have to worry about contracting an infection from a healthcare worker.
We wanted to give the community the opportunity to come together in support of the schools. We've believed all along the community support was there for this plan, and we wanted to give the opportunity to the community to have some fun.
There has been a dictatorial mood that you do what I tell you to or you're out of here. And you take a look at in our top administration, anybody that was not what they called a team player, they're gone, they're out of here.
Tony Stauber was once one of those top administrators, and he says he is appalled by what he sees. Stauber questions Nolan's hiring practices. For example, Stauber says Nolan hired his assistant superintendents and a physical plant director without following the district hiring policy. In fact, he says the human resources director resigned because of it. That, says Stauber, is insubordination.
Would you describe that kind of bypassing the process as insubordination to the board?
Yeah, that's a very strong word, but absolutely. I really feel that the board has the responsibility to hire the superintendent, and the superintendent has the responsibility to follow the policies. In fact, Derek, at our organizational meeting every year, we pass a resolution stating that we will follow the policies and regulations of the school board. That has not been done.
But it doesn't end there. Questions are being raised about expenditures made by the superintendent without the board's knowledge, including $52,000 for administrative training, $9,000 in relocation expenses for his assistant superintendents, and an overspent office budget by over $10,000. Nolan says these expenses are part of doing business and stands by his decisions.
I still think every decision related to this was the right decision, and we'll stand behind that decision and defend that decision. In the process, I don't think I've hurt any people doing that.
But still, the tension in the school district is very high. Nolan attributes that to old guard staffers, including Stauber, who are resistant to change.
I think there's a group out there in the community that definitely wants to get rid of the superintendent of schools because they're probably threatened by some change that's coming and some improvements that we're trying to make in the school district.
Nolan says he'll keep moving ahead with his changes until the board tells him to stop. In Duluth, Derek Hines, News 6.
Oh my gosh! One more.
Governor Carlson decided to take a swing at pitching his budget message without the home field advantage of St. Paul. Speaking to largely appreciative crowds, Carlson emphasized the need for all levels of government to tighten the belt. On the subject of public employee wage freezes, Carlson says the private sector has held the line, and government should too.
I don't think it's unfair to ask those of us in public service to go a year without a pay increase. We've had now 30,000 plus people that have laid off and lost their jobs. We have numbers of others in the private sector that have been taking pay cuts. Public employees, since bargaining started in the early 1970s, I believe they've had a pay raise every single year.
Carlson also shrugged off concerns about local government aid, a significant part of government revenue in the Northland. He says his strategy is not to shift blame, but to share responsibility. He invited any county or city government to raise taxes if they wished, but insisted the state will hold the line.
So I think the best thing we can do is to focus on what it is that we have to do to grow jobs. And that is make government more efficient, more cost-effective, and we have to put government on a diet, frankly. That is the reality. Other states are doing it. We're going to do the same thing in Minnesota.
Meanwhile, Carlson gave outstate Minnesota the chance to hear his budget message firsthand just weeks before the budget battle will begin heating up at the state capitol. The governor plans to take his show on the road more and more, hoping that taking his message directly to the people will have more impact than speeches in St. Paul. And even in northern Minnesota, he may hit a home run.
The governor's softball team is in trouble.
In Meadowlands, Derek Hines, News 6.
Come around her. She's just does the scanner.
Our grandchildren are just a part of it. A community that doesn't have good schools doesn't grow and doesn't progress. And that's the reason we, as all citizens, should be are concerned about the school bond referendum.
For some, this may look like just another day on the farm, but for this couple, it's the end of a way of life. For nearly 15 years, Glenn and Deb McDermott Johnson have owned the prize-winning Clover Glen Cattle and Dairy Farm in Barnum, but today they're loading up their cattle and moving on. The farm has been profitable since it was built near the turn of the century. Nearly 100 years later, the current owners say it's difficult to keep up with new technologies.
And any business it needs to keep up with current technologies and current trends, and this particular operation needs over $100,000 worth of renovation in order to keep it a viable dairying enterprise. And What we discovered is that for that same amount of money, we could go and choose another facility that was ready to go to work and carry us into the 21st century. And
the couple has had many setbacks while trying to maintain their farm. In 1988, half their cattle died of nitrate poisoning, and recently they learned their Grade A permit to sell bottled milk would not be renewed for next year.
We decided that we needed to provide all the opportunities for ourselves that we could, and unfortunately, Clover Glen is not able to meet the challenge anymore.
The couple plans to continue dairy farming in southern Minnesota with another couple who crop farm. Although the McDermott Johnsons are sad to let the farm go, there are some things they are looking forward to.
Probably an industry where we can have a decent income as well as everybody else does. You know, a better life, hopefully.
The dream of a better life in Carleton County has always included dairy farming, but time is changing that. It changed a little more today. In Barnum, Dave Jensch, News 6.
Well, from Chaplin, he was silent and he did more like, actions, and where Roseanne now later on is more stand-up comic and more criticism.
No, I coordinate the outreach programs for them. Students mostly think that history is boring, and History Day is designed to show kids that it's not boring when you don't have to just memorize things out of a textbook and can actually work on a display project on a topic that you're interested in.
Well, I guess my reaction at this point is we've gone so slowly over the last number of years that we have gotten ourselves in real financial trouble. We're at a point now where we can't go slow.
Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses.
To thee we come, before thee we stand, simple and sorrowful.
another thing that's coming out of my survey right now, most people are recycling newspaper and aluminum. However, a lot of them are saying with curbside coming, they're going to start looking. We are going to look at waste reduction. Which community is reducing the waste most? Because that's what this whole thing is about, to get the materials out of the landfill and into the recycling market. So
whether they are considered an employee or not. I just would like to have some opinion.
Doing this and that there's a chance of winning the situation. All we would gain from another attorney that would either be confirmation of that same opinion or at this point I intend to support going forward with the recommendation received last month. Opinion. Obviously, Mr. Denon is telling us that we have a chance of pursuing this and that there